Hey everyone, I'm Scooby-Foo, you're here for a review of Duality, so let's get to it. Now, before anything, yes, I've already made one video on Duality, which contained the DPS numbers, plus a general overview of how the weapon works, but I feel I failed to provide context to those numbers, any builds or suggestions for using the gun, as well as using an incorrect formula for calculating realistic DPS. The purpose of this video will be to fix those mistakes, but if you just want to know how the exotic trait and perk function, there will be a card in the top right to link you back to that video. Just ignore the DPS numbers. To start off, I want to get the correct and new catalyst numbers up in place, just so we're all on the same page. The non-catalyst numbers are on the left there. They've changed slightly since last time from me fixing them, but they're still generally close to before. Catalyst numbers are on the right. I know it looks bad, seeing lower DPS numbers with the catalyst, but you'll just have to trust me that it makes the gun better. One odd thing that I should mention about the catalyst before we move on, for some unknown reason, despite doing nothing except adding 2 shells to the magazine and a meaty plus 20 to the range stat, it removes 1 shot from the total reserves. So yes, technically you do less total damage with the catalyst equipped, but I'm sure that 1 shot isn't gonna make or break your DPS phase. Alright. Now that we're all up to speed, let's get some context for those DPS and total damage numbers. The main competitor for Duality is First In, Last Out, a legendary energy slug shotgun that could roll Assault Mag, which increases the RPM, and thus DPS, of the shotgun, and Vorpal Weapon, which provides a 17% damage bonus to bosses, vehicles, and guardians in their super. However, I believe it was acquired purely through the Umbral Engram system back in Season of Arrivals, and is no longer acquirable, so for you newlights who came in with the expansion, all I can say is tough luck, unfortunately. For those of you who were lucky enough to grab one with those perks, here's your DPS numbers. First In, Last Out, or as I'm going to call it from here on out, Philo, deals 23,375 damage per slug to the face. At a mag of 6 and 70 RPM with Assault Mag, it takes 4.17 seconds to empty the magazine, for a DPS of 33,633. With Vorpal Weapon and a boss mod also on the gun, it deals 28,704 damage to the face, doing 41,301 DPS over the magazine. If you recall the Duality numbers from earlier, you may realize that without proccing on Black Wings to at least ×4 ×5, Philo deals a hefty amount more DPS to bosses. But that's over 1 magazine. Surely Duality's lightning fast reloads at max speed will give it an edge for DPS over the full reserves, right? Let's find out with a side-by-side comparison. This one's taking a little bit. Alright. Duality wins the reload race here, getting its full reserves off nearly 3 seconds faster than Philo. So let's pop up the DPS numbers here, and compared to Philo with just Assault Mag, Duality does win out by about 3,000 DPS. Unfortunately, while it is closer of a competition, once you put Vorpal Weapon and a boss mod on Philo, you go back to needing a couple stacks of on Black Wings for Duality to win out in DPS again. However, if you can fire off a majority of your reserves with a ×6 or ×7 stack of on Black Wings, using different methods of reloading your weapons with exotic like Transversive Steps for Warlocks and Sealed Ahamkara Grasps, or the Dragon Shadow for Hunter, if you dodge while it's stowed, you can keep up a crispy 46,381 DPS, which even a fully perked and modded out Philo cannot keep up with. So, Duality wins, right? Sort of, because it just activated Philo's trap card, Anarchy! To explain very quickly what Anarchy is, it's an exotic heavy grenade launcher that fires arc mines that stick to enemies, dealing damage over time and, importantly, allowing you to switch to another weapon to deal additional DPS. Anarchy can easily add 14,480 DPS to any legendary weapon. But Scoob! I hear you scream. That's using 2 weapons! That's cheating! Yeah, it kinda is, but it's worth mentioning nonetheless. So, in the end, Duality wins out in optimal DPS on its own, but if you have Anarchy and don't mind giving up your heavy weapon slot for it, Philo can technically reach higher DPS. Enough about that though, we've been talking about Philo, Anarchy, and trap cards for far too long. Let's ignore all that and make some builds for this goddamn slug pellet hybrid weird shotgun. We're going to talk about 2 builds, one for Warlock, one for Hunter, and both are going to focus on bypassing the lose on Black Wings on reload feature that Duality has. Warlock first. For weapons, I'm going to be using a good PvE True Prophecy I have, Duality, obviously, and for heavy, you can use just about whatever you'd like. I'm going to use this nice Interference 4 that I've got. Now, for armor, I wanted to create both these builds without using any mods from the seasonal artifact, so that if you're watching this video in future seasons, you can be sure that everything will work. On my helmet, I have a stat mod, 2 shotgun ammo finders to keep your reserves full for longer, and shield break charge, to get me charged with light whenever I break a shield with the matching element. On my gloves, I have fastball to throw grenades faster and further, shotgun dexterity to swap to or from Duality fast faster, and high energy fire, which gives you a 20% damage increase while charged with light, but consumes 1 stack on every weapon kill. More on how we sustain this buff in a moment. On my robes, I have a stat mod, and heavy-handed entirely for its secondary effect, which gives back 1 shot in reserves for duality whenever you get a kill while surrounded by 3 or more enemies. To get this effect to work, however, you need either an arc mod socketed in that armor piece, or another arc charged with light mods somewhere in your build, but we'll cover that in a moment. For my boots, we have the exotic Transversive Steps, which automatically reload your held weapon after sprinting for about 2 seconds. Very importantly, this reload does not make you lose your stacks of on-black wings like reloading normally does, so we will be using this aspect of the exotic quite a lot to keep our damage up while using duality. The mods I have in my boots are a stat mod, Shotgun Scavenger to increase the amount you get from your finder bricks, and Quick Charge, another arc charged with light mod that gets us charged with light by defeating 2 enemies within a short period of time with our shotgun. Now, because this is another arc charged with light mod, it will activate the secondary effect of heavy-handed that gets us our ammo back on kill. Quick Charge also has a secondary effect of increasing our ready speed, aka how fast we switch to our shotgun, which helps with switching to it quickly to keep on-black wings up. And finally, in my bond, I have a stat mod, Special Finisher, which allows you to spawn a special ammo brick by finishing an enemy at the cost of a 30 or super, and stacks on stacks, which makes the mods that get us charged with light give us 2 stacks at once, instead of only 1. This build is subclass neutral, but if you want to be an absolute ad-slaying monster, I would suggest running Bottom Tree Void for Devour to get your health back on kill. But if you want to run Stasis or something like that, then that'd be equally valid. Really, just run whatever you like. So, how all these mods interact can be summed up by a short clip of me clearing out a lost sector with this build. Let's roll the footage. So, we start out here just by running in and normally killing some ads. Nothing too special here. You can see the Transversive Steps reload working there to keep on-black wings active. And then if you look on the left, you can see that as I'm losing my stacks of charge with light from killing enemies with duality, I gain the second one back on the second kill. And you can see the Transversive reload working again there, keeping on-black wings up, which allows me to one-shot those Nightmare Beasts. Throw a super over there for fun. And you can see that I still have the buff for on-black wings up. Almost reload there, but get the Transversives off instead. Another Ultra one-shotted. You can see heavy-handed working throughout that entire part, how I was regaining ammo for all my shots. Switch to the hand cannon to clean up the last couple of ads that were a bit further away. And that's the lost sector. So that's how the Warlock build works. Let's switch over to our Hunter. Things are going to look similar for our Hunter here. Again, long-range primary, duality, and whatever heavy you feel like. Armor mods are going to look a bit different, but that's just because my Hunter is worse off for gear. Use the same mods that I had mentioned for Warlock. Heavy-handed, quick charge, etc. One thing that is different is our exotic armor piece. Obviously, we can't use Transversive Steps on a Hunter, so instead we're going to use Sealed Ahamkara Grasps. These will fully reload your weapon on any melee hit, also bypassing the loss of on-black wings that you would normally get with a reload. No catch with the perk, other than a short cooldown. For subclass, I would suggest any of the ones that have a ranged melee, like the Throwing Knives of Solar, Smoke Grenades of Void, or Shurikens of Stasis. Again, here's a clip of my Hunter clearing the same lost sector as before. No commentary needed, you already know how it works by now. So, all that's left now is some final thoughts on the gun and the builds you can make with it. Same as the last video, I still love how the gun feels and looks to both handle and shoot. I'd railed on the reload speed for the weapon before, but I was comparing it in my head to other magazine-loaded guns, forgetting that most shotguns reload shell by shell. Compared to those, this thing reloads like a dream, not that you're ever really reloading it normally with these builds anyways. The catalyst most certainly makes the gun feel better to use, the additional 2 shots in the mag make it a much smoother add-clear experience, and generating orbs is always a good thing to have on a gun. All in all, I would 100% suggest trying out the Warlock build for this gun. Every time I've played using it, it always feels extremely smooth mowing through enemies with every single shot. It's unfortunate that Titans can't make full use of the shotgun because of a lack of exotics to reload it properly, but what can you do? Bungie, please make Actium Warrig auto-reload shotguns. It has shotgun shells on the front of it. Just do it. It would make it so much more fun. You could do so many things with it. And that's it. If this review was entertaining, taught you how to use the gun efficiently, or was just generally useful, please consider dropping a like and hitting the subscribe button. Drop a comment telling me your thoughts on the weapon. I'm always curious to see what other people think. Thank you for watching. I'm Scooby Foo, and I will see you all next time.